Thank you for listening to the Golden Hour Drip podcast with me, Logan Lee Miller. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to the Golden Hour Drip podcast. I'm your host, Logan Lee Miller. Happy Friday. Oh my gosh. I feel like I say this every single week, but I'm just like extra grateful to get to the weekend. I feel like we are meant to recharge and rejuvenate, and I love to be able to have a couple days where I can reset. I don't have to get up at a specific time. If I wanted to, I could sleep in all day, even though that's like not usually my MO. I definitely could sleep and just like get up and get my morning coffee. I also think midday yoga sessions are so fun. So if I'm able to like go to a yoga class or grab coffee or breakfast with a friend or lunch, like I live for the weekends. Don't get me wrong. I love my weekdays too, and I don't waste them. And I try to spend every single moment just like, loving each day, not to be contained to only hanging out on the weekends or only doing things on the weekend, but also doing things on the weekdays too. I get it. It's fine. This weekend is going to be even better than ever because we are going to the Niangua. We're going to float on the float trip, and it's just like such a good, it's such good memories. Oh my gosh, I love spending time with my family. I love to just like hang out on the river, and it's like a little mini family reunion. I get to see the people I love. It's so nostalgic. I get to be on the river close to the water. And it's these memories that I have of going on the float trip every single year, and just like the people who come and go from our lives, and how, last year is going to look different than this year, and the year before looks different than the year, after, and just it's an amazing experience. So I'm looking forward to it. What are you looking forward to this weekend? If you're on YouTube, sound off below. If you are on, the audio version, head over to our Instagram, comment on one of the reels that I've posted or the TikToks, all the things, and make sure you're following the Golden Hour Drip podcast accounts. We're on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. It would mean the absolute world to me if you would subscribe, follow, and send to a friend. I swear it takes 2 minutes or less, and it means the absolute world to me. So thank you for being a listener and part of the Golden Hour Drip network. So let's get into the Ask the Gals segment today. Each Friday, we have listener questions submitted. These can be submitted on Instagram or through our email, goldenhourdrip@gmail.com. And I would love to hear what you're going through and what advice you might need. If you're listening to this episode and you think that my advice wasn't the advice that you would give, I'd love to hear what you have to say as well. Comment and sound off in the comments below. My roommate is messy. We roomed together last year and our lease is up in July. She keeps mentioning renewing for next year and how fun it will be, but I don't think I can handle a second year of unwashed dishes piling up, dirty laundry everywhere, and her using my shower stuff without asking. She says she doesn't, but I constantly get empties without me knowing. How do I tell her I don't want to room together? All right, girl. When is your lease actually up? Is it July 1st? Because we are so close to July. It is unreal. If it's July 15th, is that the end of the world? No, but that only gives her 2 weeks to try and find one, another roommate, or two, another place to live. So depending on when it is when you would, your quickness to the situation is imperative. So I would put myself in her shoes. The more time you can give her to find a new roommate or find somewhere to live, the better. If it's the end of the July, okay, that's a whole month. But finding a place to live is so hard. Finding someone who doesn't already have like roommate plans is even harder. So the quicker you can have a conversation with her, the better. If you guys are still great friends, that it's just like the messiness of everything. If it's just, oh, like she doesn't pick up after herself, or there's like dirty dishes everywhere, I think the best thing for you to do is sit down with her and have a conversation. Communication is always key. I would outline house chores, or like I would say, listen, whatever her name is, Catherine, I love rooming with you. I think it is so much fun. However, if I'm going to room with you another year, we need to work on these things, right? Like, and set some boundaries, set some expectations for the house. And it shouldn't be one-sided. It's not you saying this is what we're going to do, but more have a conversation. What are some of the things that she wants to do? What are some of the things that you want? And have those boundaries established, and have those things, put into place. So if she, is always having dirty dishes out, or, food fermenting, I would say put in a boundary of no dirty dishes in the sink left for more than a day. And if you guys have a dishwasher, load the dishwasher every single night, and in the morning someone's unloading it. You guys can switch off for different days. I would put the house in quadrants. I would say, okay, we have the living room, we have the kitchen, we have the bedrooms, we have the bathrooms. Maybe every Wednesday, and you can rotate off any of these. Like, all right, you're on one week, I'm on the next week. You could say on Wednesdays, we're cleaning the bathrooms, whether or not they need it. We're wiping down the bathrooms, and we are cleaning the sinks. And then maybe on Fridays, you're like, okay, Fridays is Food Friday. We are cleaning out the fridge, any leftovers that were from the previous week that nobody ate. Okay, let's clean those out. Let's get rid of them so that we can go shopping this weekend. We can find fresh groceries and can meal prep for the upcoming week. Any little thing that works for your schedule and is going to help like keep the house tidy is going to be so imperative. Communication skills are so important, and being able to work with people who might not have the same styles as you, such as cleaning the house or like their standard of clean. So it's important that you talk to them. I also think that you're cutting it a little close, and if you guys cannot come up with an agreement for cleaning the house, or maybe the roommate is unresponsive, I don't know the relationship that you guys have. So if it has become toxic, maybe it is time that you move on, and having that conversation might be painful, but you're running out of time. So finding a new place to live, or having them find a new place to live, or subleasing, or any of those things, like, now is the time. I mean, I don't know what you're waiting for, girl. I would start making the plans. I would start putting things into motion so that you're feeling better about the situation, because I'm sure you're a little anxious or angry with the roommate about not picking up after herself, or, not cleaning. But I also think that your roommate is trying to engage in conversation. If she's bringing up renewing of the lease, and she's like, hey, like, are we renewing? And you keep pushing her off, or, acting like you guys are renewing and it's not going to be any big deal. I think that's doing a disservice for your friendship. And it's also not super nice. I would try to be, as kind in this situation as possible. Think of it as if you were in this situation. How would you want someone to treat you? How would you want to go about the entire ordeal? And then lead with that. But I think a conversation needs to be had. I think, we're vacuuming on Tuesdays and cleaning our bedrooms on Saturdays. Like, I think putting in place a plan, and then also, if things are not getting done, like being able to have, okay, every 2 weeks, we're going to come together and we're going to talk about what has been going on in the house. And if we're not like doing the things that we need to be doing, and the other roommate has to pick up, then you like owe her $10 for each task that wasn't done that she had to do, right? Like, make it agreeable, make it a way that it's going to, you're going to be able to stick to it. And if there's any way to pay month by month for your lease, right? Like, instead of paying the full year, being like, all right, like, can we pay month to month because we're looking for somewhere else, or only 6 months, or if you do pay the year, like subbing it out to someone else. Good luck. Hey, I hope that you're enjoying today's podcast episode. Just a quick interruption to let you know that the Golden Hour Drip podcast has a monthly newsletter. You'll find podcast updates, upcoming events and information, and bonus content. If you haven't already, click the link in the show notes and join today. Now, back to the show. Summer is here and many of my friends want and love to go swimming. Unfortunately, I don't tan and am super pale. Everyone looks so beautiful and bronzed and I feel like a beluga whale. I don't want to burn, but also don't want to be excluded. I feel like the expectation for summer is so hard, right? Like everyone needs to have like beautiful bronze skin and you want to look great in your swimsuit. You want to feel confident, and it can be really hard when your friends are like beautiful, stunning, olive toned skin. And then you feel like super like not tan. I like remember in college, my, like friends and I went to spring break in March, and March means like nobody is like tan because it's not summer. It's still very winter, especially in the Midwest. And we have like, it gets cold like January. Okay. So January, February, March, like it's horrible. And that's why like most people on spring break go somewhere tropical. They go somewhere warm. And I remember like, we went to Florida one year and it was warm, it was stunning, and it was beautiful. And I did not tan. Like a lot of my friends, they went in tanning beds, and that's just like not my MO. I want to like protect my skin. I want to make sure that I have as least amount of wrinkles as possible come my, elder years. I'll embrace the wrinkles, but if I can prevent against any sort of sun damage, I'm going to do my best too. I wear SPF and on my face every single day. I try to wear like long sleeves in the summer and try to like get protection when I can. But it does come at an aesthetic cost. Like I compare myself to the other girls and how they're more tan. And I definitely did this year of college when we were going on spring break and everyone was tan. Everyone was stunning. I slathered on the sunscreen. I still got a little toasty burnt and I had a weird tan line. So that was like kind of sad, right? And I didn't put the emphasis on how I looked. I really focused on trying to, have a good time and create those memories and not necessarily like worry about how I looked because it's not productive, and I don't want to spend time like dragging myself down. And it can be hard to get out of the mindset of, oh my gosh, like I'm so pale. I'm not like my friends, or my body looks different than my friends. And I would say some tangible tips that you can do is you can go and purchase a swimsuit that you feel 1,000,000 times confident in. You can do like a little color analysis and see which color works best for your skin tone, so it is appealing. Like I don't think it depends on what aesthetic you're going for, but I think if you wear like a black swimsuit, the contrast between your pale skin is going to be really apparent. So if you can do maybe something that is going to complement your hair color and your skin tone and make you still feel really, really confident. Maybe it's a flattering cut as well. If you have like those things that make you feel good and fill you up, maybe it's a sun hat, like a super fun sun hat and like super retro cool sunglasses. And you pack your little beach bag with your Olipop and your snacks and your sunscreen, and you have all the tools and equipment to feel really comfortable and confident wherever you're going for swimming. If you're going to the public pool, or if you're going on a vacation and there's a beach, like skin tone is something that you cannot change. You can try and alter it. You can maybe go and get a spray tan. It depends on your comfort level. I feel like spray tans are so good in theory, but sometimes like they don't look the most natural, or when they start to like rub off, when your skin cells start to, die and disintegrate, or you do a scrub and then now you have streaks and you have orange fingers and all of those things. And while there are like some really amazing, great suntan lotions, it's not like it's high maintenance, like having to work on a spray tan all the time. So I would load up your arsenal of your favorite swim bag, a cute swimsuit, great accessories. And I would focus on the things that you can control, right? Like your swimsuit and your tools to go to the beach or the pool. And I would let go of the things that you cannot control. And you embracing your natural beauty is going to be the most helpful and healing thing. And if it's not now, it'll be later. But I would start working on it now, so then you can appreciate every aspect of yourself and your summer without, because it's ruining it in the moment. You're thinking, oh my gosh, like I'm not pale, or I wish I had abs, or all of these things. But when you look back at it, you don't think those things. You think, oh my gosh, that was such a good time, or I had so much fun. Or maybe you do think, oh gosh, I wish I didn't spend so much time thinking about my swimsuit, but other things that made me happy. So good luck and happy summer. I want my hair to be lighter for summer, but I'm on a budget. Someone suggested sun-in. Should I give it a go? Oh my gosh. I have had sun-in in my hair. I feel like it's kind of like a rite of passage. You have to experience it once in your life. And most of us do it when we're kids, right? Like you put lemon juice in your hair. That's essentially what sun-in is. It's lemon juice and like other things, because obviously it's like mass produced and at your local drugstore. But sun-in is kind of damaging, right? Like it's not like amazingly great for your hair. It's the chemical reaction between the lemon juice and the sun, and essentially like it can lighten your hair. I just think that if you're on a budget and you use sun-in, you like spritz it on your hair, the outcome is not going to be what you think it's going to be. It also depends on what your hair texture and your hair color is. If your hair is raven black and you try and use sun-in, it might turn orangey red. If your hair is brown, it might, do a little bit better. If it's blonde, it, might be what you're wanting, but essentially like it can damage your hair. You might not have the aesthetic that you're going for. And in the long run, you might have to pay a hairstylist to fix it. Or if your hair is damaged, you might have to do a big chop and cut it all off. And then you're sad because now your hair is short, or it's not the quality that you want. Maybe it's really damaged now and you have to take care of it better. I think that investing in a hairdresser to lighten it for you is going to be the best option. It also depends on how attached you are to your hair. If you're not attached to your hair and you're like, like if I have to cut it, it's no big deal, or I don't care how it looks, or I'll just put box dye on it. Like that's your prerogative. You do you. But in my opinion, if you're on a budget and you're looking for a specific aesthetic or a look that you love, maybe it's like the melted root sun lived in blondie girl. I would start saving money for a hairstylist to do that, or talking to a hairstylist and being like, hey, like, this is what I'm looking for. I'm on a budget. Like, how can we achieve this without having like a lot of maintenance, doing some research, and essentially like sometimes it is not about the short term, but the long term, right? And it might be a cheap option. I think sun-in is like $7 for a bottle or something like that. If you're a boy, like you can spritz sun-in on and then just like cut your hair. It's no big deal. But when you have longer hair and it takes longer to grow, damaging it is maybe not the right option. I know it seems so appeasing, and there's like I know so many like social media posts. It's like, oh, I did sun in and it's like really gorgeous and beautiful. But your hair is not always the same as someone else's hair, and what might work for someone else might not work for you. So I would just like take it with a grain of salt, like be a little cautious. Okay. Also it's like a spritz bottle, right? So if you're spritzing it, you might have like uneven patches, and then you will have to fix it with a hairdresser. So it's your hair. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. I've used sun-in before when I was, 10 and 12 and 14, whatever. But I don't necessarily recommend it. I would budget for a hairstylist. So thank you for listening to this week's episode of Ask the Gals. If you have any submissions that you would like heard on the podcast, send them in. If you think my advice was, not what you would recommend, what would you recommend? What would you do in this situation? I would love to hear it. Comment down below. And thank you for listening to this week's episode. Make sure you like, subscribe, press that notification bell, all of the things, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.